In the last movie, we built this model that's called the Quickstart to Vectorworks Architect. In this movie, what I'd like to do is to have a look at how we can convert this information into drawings. Let's start with a top plane view. I'm going to use my numeric keypad, hit key 0, and I'm in a top plane view. And you'll notice that I've got a lot of information. So this is a roof, I think. This is a purlin. There's some rafters here. There's also some floor joists underneath. So you've got to be careful what you click on. Over here it tells you exactly what we've got selected, framing member, and so on. Now I'm going to start with creating a plan. Now it's not always the correct way to set up your drawings. You probably want to start with a cover sheet, floor plan, or a frame foundation plan, and so on. I'm going to start in the middle. I'm going to start with a floor plan so that I give you the idea of what we're going to do. There's a tool here on the Architect workspace called the Visibility tool. And I like this because you just click on an object and it turns its class off. You might remember we spent some time making classes in the last movie, so this is really useful. So I'm going to get rid of my floor beams, get rid of my floor joists, and you can see I've now got a reasonable floor plan. We're missing some dimensions. Here are my dimensions over here, so let's just turn the dimensions on, and there we are. We can now create a floor plan. We're going to use a concept called a viewport, and a viewport takes this information and it puts it onto a sheet of paper. This is a design layer, and we're going to use sheet layers to create our drawings. So let's just start simply. We're going to create a rectangle like this, using the rectangle tool, view in the menu bar, and create viewport. So this may be used as a viewport's crop. I'm going to say always do the selected action because I don't want this dialog box to come up all the time. So I'm going to say yes. Now the viewport name is going to be my floor plan. And then I'm going to select all that, copy it using a keyboard shortcut. We're going to create a new sheet layer. So let's create a new sheet layer here. It's not going to be 001 because that's going to be my foundation. This is 002. This is my floor plan. Make sure you spell it right. Okay. And my drawing title, I'm going to go paste. So it pastes floor plan in there. That'll put the label in for me really quick because at least it's got the label there. I can choose some standard labels. So we're going to use that one, double click on it. It's a top plan view. It's going to be a wireframe. It's 2D and the scale 1 to 25, which is appropriate for this, but wouldn't be appropriate if this was, say, a bigger building. Okay, so there we are on my piece of paper. Let's just fit to page area. That's this button. That's fit to objects. That's fit to page area. And let's just push that slightly out of the way. So that's my floor plan. It's got my scale. It's got my dimensions. And you can see it was reasonably quick. Now if we do go back to Vectorworks and make a change, I'm just going to hit the M key so I can see more than one view of my object. So let's just right click, we'll close that one. Right click, we'll close that one as well. And this one I'm going to change to a top plan view as well. So just watch what happens. I move my view, I move my window in my design layer, and it automatically updates in my viewport. Let's just undo that and it goes back again. So this is a really powerful way of presenting your drawings because we've got both the design layer information and we can easily update the sheet layer information. There it is. There's my sheet layer. So fit to page area again. I want to put on a title block. So scroll down. We're looking for a title block border tool. Let's bring that in. Double click. And we want to choose a title block which suits us. There are some standard ones here. I'm going to choose a small architectural one. I think I want that one. That's the one. And okay. Now my title block's too large, so I'm going to edit this. I've got the ability to change my settings over here, so let's edit my style. And here's my style here, my sheet border. First I'm going to get rid of my the things around the edge, the border, so that's going to be 0.1 of an inch. I usually use 32nd of an inch or 1 millimeter is what I usually use because I usually work in millimeters. I'm going to hide the border. I'm going to go to my sheet zones. You can put grids in if you like. You can show the grids. You can show grid lines. I'm going to turn off my crop marks though. So now I just have a title block in the corner. There it is there. And you can see I've lost my border going around. And I'll just go back to my selection tool. If I double click, I can choose to edit my settings or my title block layout. Now, in my title block layout, I don't want a whole lot of this stuff. Let's just get rid of some of that. Get rid of these bits here. I don't want that. I don't want that. I want to put my logo in here. If I had a logo, I could put my logo in this area here, which is really convenient. And I'm going to grab all of this stuff here and move it down and just leave room for my logo. There we are. These lines here need to be projected down. Don't forget you can use a lot of these sort of tools here. So we can go click, we want to project that down to there and project that line down to there. And that's pretty cool. So let's exit that. Now I'm going to go back to my settings on this object because I want to discuss what these arrows mean. Now you'll notice that all of these are grayed out at the moment because I've got the curvy arrow. Now this curving arrow says that my style, that is in my resource manager how I've defined it, is where I have to make that change. It applies to every title block. If we go back up to here and we change edit style, so we're going to change the style. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to our border, sheets, title block. Let's make a scale of 0.7. And I think what that will do is make it all small. It'll fit on my piece of paper and it looks reasonably good. It just needs a logo. Double click on this. We're going to go to our layout again. Now at the moment this says issue notes, and I'm going to change that from issue notes to revision notes. Okay, now here I have this information here is connected to a database and it's my issue data number. And I'm going to change that to revision data number. There's another bit of text here. This is the date. So I'm going to change this to revision data date. This one here is, let's have a look here. This one should be revision data note. Cool. Last thing I want to change down here is the sheet number. And I'm going to change this from center justified to right justified. I'm going to move it across a little bit and I'm just going to make a copy of that object and move it across to here, and this is going to be left justified and it's going to be my revision. Now I go to sheet data and I think it's called title block border style, current revision number, that's the one. So when I add a revision to this, it will update on here. How do we add a revision? We select our title block, we can go to sheet data, and I can add some revision data. So let's click here and we'll add one, which is title block updated. Here we are. Now the direction is going to be up the sheet, so it's going to go up. That's perfect. We're going to display the most current 10, and OK. And you can see there it is. It's updated my number here. It's got the A. It's written my revision there. So that's how we take care of a title block and do revisions. Now let's carry on and make some more drawings. So I'm going to duplicate this. So right click, duplicate, and I'm going to change this number. This is going to be 001, and I'm going to change its name to foundation plan. Foundation plan. There we are. Okay, so it still calls it floor plan, so we better change that to foundation plan. Foundation plan, cool. Now you might notice down here it's already updated this to foundation plan, which is magic. So it does keep track of these. I don't want to see my foundation like this, so what I need to do is look at my classes button and actually choose some classes that I want to see. So I want to see my bearers. I don't need to see my roof. If I do want to see my roof, I'm going to change that. I don't want to see my walls. Let's preview. And we're going to get rid of our dimensions. Preview that. There's my foundation plan. Click OK. Now if I do want to put dimensions in here, I am going to have a different class. So let's go here, right click, we'll duplicate this class and we'll call it dimension dash foundation. And I'm going to edit I can't edit this one. I don't want to edit that one. It's a special one. So now we have foundation dimension. I can right click here. I can edit my annotations. I can grab my dimension tool. It should be, oh, there it is there. There's my dimension tool. And what do we want to do? I want to check to make sure that my document preferences are set here to associate create dimensions in class. Let's put them in dimension foundation for a bit, and we'll come back and change that. So what do we need to do? We need to zoom in a little bit, so the Z key to zoom in from there to there. There's one. Yes, so sometimes you get this option where you can say yes, let's turn that on, and it should turn on a class for me. And I'm going to go back to that, and I'm going to click there again, and it should stop. So I really want to use this dimension style here. So from there down to there, hit the Z key again. There we are. And you might want to put settings here showing what the offset of each of these is. Let's go back to there. I want to go from the center of that to the center of that. And then you can go right click and add a dimension. Let me just do that again. So right click on my dimension. We want to add dimensions. Come down to this one here and double click. And so it creates a dimension that's the same. So this is a single dimension. I can move this dimension out. If we zoom in, this dotted line here is the length of my witness line, so I can change that as well if I want. Let's just have a look. So let's get out of that, and that's on the dimension foundation class, dimension foundation class, dimension foundation class. That's cool. I could put notes, annotations, and so on. So we've got our foundation plan, and we've got our floor plan, and I'd like to create elevation. So I'm going to go back to my design layer 1, front view, orthogonal. Let's turn on everything. And if you use the Alt key and click, everything turns on. All this information here, I'm going to use my visibility tool again. That's the V key. Let's turn those off. And now I'm going to create another viewport. So rectangle tool again. There's my rectangle view, create viewport. This is my north elevation. North elevation. So again, I go copy, and I go paste, and we need a new sheet layer, which is 0, 0, 0. So 3, 4, 5. This must be 5. Elevations. What scale do we want? This time we want 1 to 50 scale, so I can fit all my elevations on one piece, on one sheet. So we want front, we don't want that shaded, we want it hidden line, orthogonal, and let's go OK, and update. What does it look like? Oh, magic. So let's put one of those there. I'm going to drag a copy of that across, and then on my object info palette I can change this from a front view to a right view, update it. There it is. Let's grab those two, drag copies of both of those down. I want this one to be my left view, and this one to be my back view. So this is the east elevation, so I should be able to go east. This one will be my west. And this one will be my south. And then we just update. You can select a whole lot of elevations and go view, update, selected viewports, and just update all of them. Now we're missing a title block. So let's go back to our drawing border tool. Let's click here and make sure we're using the drawing border from our current file, because we've edited this one. And then one click, and that should place one. Now just make sure I only put one. I accidentally put two. There we are. Undo that. I accidentally clicked twice. I should have only clicked once. And you can see it's always bringing up here the name of my sheet layer and the number of it. Now I'm going to go back to, I've got my foundation plan, I've got my floor plan, and I need a section. View on the menu bar, create section viewport, click there, double click. So this is my section AA. It's going onto a new sheet layer called 006 sections. Section AA, 1 to 25 will be good. And OK. So there it is there. I'm missing a title block. Let's put in a title block. And this time we might want to change this title block from there to maybe one which is a horizontal one, like this one. And you'll notice I've got to go through my settings again. If you store these in your template file, you don't have to keep going back and fixing them. So let's edit that style. And all I'm going to do is some quick stuff here. I'm just going to make that 0.1, 0.1, and a 0.1 here, a 0.1 there, hide the border, crop marks, none, okay, and that should fix that. So just temporarily I've done that. So that's my section there. I'm going to drag a copy holding down the Option key on a Macintosh or the Control key on a Windows machine, and next thing I'm going to do is to have a look at this. So each section has an ability to have section line instances. This is a little section line or something on the drawing that shows you where the section line is. So here it's on floor plan. This one doesn't have one yet, so when I go to section line instances, it's not there. I'm going to put that on the floor plan. So when we go back to the floor plan, you can see it looks like there's only one section reference, but it is number 2. Now I'm going to right click and choose edit on my viewport. Now quite often people double click and it brings up this dialog box. It doesn't for me because I've changed this double clicks to edits the annotation. So every time I double click, it goes straight into the annotations. Now this is the second section. When I drag that along, you'll see I've now got number 1 and number 2. I'm going to move that point to the center of that dimension there, and this one to the center of that dimension, and then I'm going to move that one out and move this one out as well. Okay, let's exit that and let's go back to our sections. If we update this, so we have to scroll up here, click on the update button. There it is, it's going through my long section. Now both of these are missing the roof. I'm just going to nudge that across. I'm just holding down my shift key. And let's nudge this one across a little bit. Select them both. Then I can go to classes on my object info palette. And I can turn on the roof. So let's make sure that our bearers are turned on. Our roof main is turned on. All of our purlins are turned on. And OK, and then let's update. And so there's my roof with all its construction. We also have the ability to control how this looks. So if we go to our advanced properties, that's this button here, we can have merge cross sections using something called section style normally. There it is, section style. Now, I don't like that very much because I find it just a little bit too dark. So what I tend to do is I tend to find the section style here. This is just usually just here. I usually go edit, and we'll change this to a pattern with a foreground white. Now you can't see this because of my my color palette always jumps to the other screen. And let's have a look. So we're going to have it actually back to front. So that one's going to be black, and the other one wants to be white. Okay, now when I click here, I get that one. And a 0.35 line, so it's going to be reasonably dark. Let's have a look. Let's update those viewports. Much nicer. I also have the ability with the sections to change whether I want them to have separate cross sections using the attributes of the original objects. And let's update that as well. Pretty cool. You can see all that stuff, but you'll also notice that things like my foundations have turned into that purple dotted line. So you then have to go through the settings here, find the bearers, the joists. Let's edit those. Now, because I've got two viewports selected, I can't change them all at the same time, so I have to do them one at a time. So let's select those, edit, and we'll change those to solid fill, solid pen, black pen, using my color palette again, 0.18, okay, let's update. And it should have updated these and changed their pen settings. Now, if it doesn't work like that, then you need to make sure that when you created those, you had the right settings on them. So I'm going to hit M again so I can see both things. I'm going to change this view to my design layer. I want to see everything in 3D, so let's hide some of this information and turn on my bearers and floors. Okay, so this object here, we need to check to make sure that we're using class attributes. Make all attributes by class. Now that should work, and so when I update this viewport, there they are. You can see they've all updated and they've all got black lines. So you just need to do that for all the classes that you want to use. Okay, with that, the other option we have, the other thing I wanted to look at was, quite often at an early stage, I will create advanced properties, I'll merge all my cross sections together, and I'll also to create a new class called section style faded. Now this section style faded I got from my friend Michael. Thank you, Michael. User creation. The color is going to be solid. The color of my pen is going to be a standard color, which is going to be a light gray color. Light gray, let's have a look. What do I want to use? I want to use about 25% light gray. This is the fill, sorry, so the fill needs to be white. And the color of the pen is going to be about 25%. And I'm going to make it thin. And that should make everything at the back actually just start to fade away. So here we're going to use a class faded, use class faded. But this one is section style, that one. So let's update those two again. Which I really like, because now we've got a solid section and faded lines behind, which I think is really pretty neat. And if I grab that one and I reverse my section, let's go down here and we're going to reverse the direction and let's update it. So you can see there's my window, which is quite cool. When we go back to our drawing, we'll find that our floor plan has the arrow going the other way, so they're all connected together. So we've now got a foundation plan. Now these are slightly out of order, so I'm going to reorder these. I'm going to get my foundation first. That one, 1, 2. I'm missing a roof plan. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to create a new one, 0, 0, 0. This is my cover sheet. There we are, it's my cover sheet. Let's drag that to the top. And I really want my cover sheet to have some perspectives in it. So let's go back to my design layer, three-dimensional view. We're going to make this orthogonal or a normal perspective. There we are, just change the view to get what we want. Now I did notice when I looked at this that some of my hatches don't line up. These two hatches don't line up. If we go to the render tab, sometimes you'll find that by choosing use Whirl Z for origin, it actually lines up those really well. So let's just have a look. And now this one doesn't line up, so just select that one and we'll use Z and that should work well. And the last one is this one here. and we use the Z for the world origin there. Cool. So now we get a view that we like. Maybe the front door would be a great view, and we can choose whether we have it this way or whether we, let's have a look, what sort of options have we got? We could have it shaded, we can have hidden line, we can have dashed hidden line, which is quite busy. If we go hidden line, we can then look at our line render options and we can choose a rough style. Now my rough, I like to have no understrike, always overstrike. Okay. And so now it looks like a hand drawing. View, create viewport. I'm not using a rectangle this time, and this is a view 1. We'll put this on our cover sheet, and it remembers most of this information, so okay on that. And let's have a look. Fit to page area. So there's my object there. Right click, edit crop. Now I'm going to draw my rectangle for my crop. There we are there. Right click, let's edit my annotations, and we'll just get rid of that completely. So there's my view. Drag a copy of that up here, right click and edit camera. Now by editing the camera, it should update my viewport. So let's change our view, return back to our viewport. You can see I need to change my crop because my crop's missing my object. And bring that crop in on that side. Now if you want to make one of these shaded, I'm really happy for you to make it shaded. Here, let's make it shaded. Let's put a Renderworks background, sky mostly sunny. Nice sky, mostly sunny. And we'll change the scale of this. Now it's 1 to 25 at the moment. We want that to be 1 to 50 is too small. That's too big. That's better. Okay, and again we can go view and we can say update all viewports. Now it's going to update every one of them. Sections, elevations, the whole lot. And that's what we've got. If you don't like that, we can change that from shaded back to hidden line and look at our background render settings here. Still using the rough style, so we can update that. And there's my two views. So let's just have a look through. We've got our two views. I'm just going to use my arrow key, my control plus arrow or command plus arrow. Foundation plan, floor plan, elevations, sections, and so on. I'm not showing you how to annotate. I think that's just a quick start. So just to get you started, we took the 3D model and we used it to build our sections and elevations. And when we make an update to our design, so for example, if we change something, let's just hide all of our roof stuff. Wherever it's gone, we hide all our floor. Now let's find our roof and hide all our roof. Move the window, move the door, go back to our cover sheet, and what we'll do is we'll do update all viewports. You can see them updated. Foundation hasn't changed, the floor plan's changed, the elevations have changed, the sections have changed. It's really quick to do this. I'm just going to undo some of this so that I put my windows and doors back where they were. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so I'm going to save my file so I don't lose anything. So if you're wondering what to do next, I really reckon you should check out my website. We have a regular series of webinars where we go through this kind of stuff in detail, and it also allows you to stop me and ask me questions. Thoroughly recommend it. www.archoncad.com. Thanks for watching. Here's my website, archoncad.com, and you'll find in this knowledge base thousands of movies. We've got movies on how to create drawings, how to deal with layers and classes, the foundation courses here, how to take what you've learned to the next stage with all of my architectural movies. Every month we have webinars that you can join, and that's my suggestion. But if you'd like to just to attend a course, an online course, I also have my online course here, which is store.archoncad.com, and I have here my up-to-date courses, the foundation course, the 3D modeling course, and I'm currently working on updating my architect course for Vectorworks 2022.